Now I'd like to talk a little bit about how we're going to use spirals. Now spirals is really quite complex, but actually in a way quite simple if you take it as a principle. You know, spiral is the major force of the universe. You know, it's often said the universe itself is a spiral. And when you look at how it can work through the body, if you think of a large spring and the way that the energy would travel, and then you can turn the spring this way, you can compress the spring this way, you can bend it this way, as long as you've got something to fix it against. And this is a method of using power and energy. Even what you think is a straight line, when you're striking, when you understand how it's spiraling, or if you like, even how a straight line comes off of a spiral, think of a stone flying off a car wheel. You know, you've got this idea of turning and spinning. And therefore also any incoming force. So you can use it to drive a force coming out. You can also use it to accept or take a force coming in. Think of trying to hit a spinning ball. So this is what you really want. Wedging comes first. So as he makes his attack, I can wedge. Now, having completed that wedge, I could then turn that into a spiral and use it to lock, throw, whatever. But also, if I didn't want to just hit him, I mean, after all, he could be Uncle Fred at a wedding who's just a bit drunk, and you know, I don't really want to poke his eyes out and smash him down onto the pavement. I just want to control him. So he throws his punch, and it might be at this point now, I don't want to hit him with the wedge, so I turn the wedge into a spiral from there. And once we start this spiraling, now think back to feet, posture, mindset, breath. My feet are attached strongly to the floor. My posture's correct, my mind is strong, hunting him, and I've not lost my breathing, I've not lost control of my breathing, I'm still breathing from down here, so I'm like the animal that's hunting. I've broken, you can see the traction of his feet to the floor, I've broken the postural alignment. Once this is broken, his mindset now goes from fight to flight. And I've disrupted his breathing as well. So having disrupted him in this way, now if I want to, I can deliver the strike off of the spiral, or just take it into a lock, a throw, and so on. So it might be, if you punch in again, the spiral might come that way. It might be that as the wedge comes in, I decide I don't want to hit, so now I start spiraling. Or actually continue the spiral, because it was coming this way anyway. So all we're really doing now is to turn and continue that spiral on. Along with that spiral, we keep and maintain the wedge, because this is where the arm is strong to the body. You can't lock like that. Well, you can, but it's very weak. It needs to be here. So it's driven from the feet, through the postural alignment of the body, the right kind of mindset, and controlling him from here. So we're going to use it to trap, which I'm just coming on to in a minute, but I wanted to treat spiraling just separately to kind of introduce you to the idea of how we use it. So the spiral starts here with the wedge. Now it might be that we return the spiral now going this way, we break his structure. We only hit him once we've broken that structure, because when he's here, he can take a hit quite easily, but the moment I break his structure, he takes it very badly. So your strike will become hundreds of % more effective the moment you break his structure. So in effect, you hit a lot harder when you make him weaker. So you've got two hands, you might as well make good use of them. So even if I'd hit with a spiral in the first one, the moment I broke his structure, return the spiral with the next one, and so on. So look at the way energy travels through the body. Energy travels anyway from the arches of the feet up in a spiral through the body. Every movement that you do for your feet to grip onto the floor, this leg will spiral this way, this leg will spiral this way. The waist and all the muscles and the way the muscles are around the body is built for spiraling, for power and energy. Think about it, if you chop a tree down, you wouldn't go like that. You use the body, you turn it. So using this rotating and spiraling movement of the body is where you get most power. To take force away from the opponent, just turn it into that curved ball, spiral. You stay strong, he goes to weak. So locking throwing, striking, blocking. You need to be able to have this idea of a spiral. If you only think of it in certain techniques, then your mind will just link it and spiral will only crop up within that movement and technique. But as you can see, we're using them as a principle. So wedging can be done with any part of the body in any situation, and it's the same with spiraling. It's a principle, it's an idea. So whichever part of his body you touch, however you get a hold of him, however you're striking, just have this spiraling as an idea that sits at the bottom, so that it's there within everything that you do. So gradually it's absorbed into your body. It's an idea you have in your head that is then absorbed into the body, and not just something that's connected to a specific movement. You've only got to watch someone moving and you can see whether they use it just within a technique or whether it's there as a principle. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next part. Thank you.